Once again, a plug for Dynamic Marriage. A very detailed look into the kind of material that we've been talking about, only better. Interactive, not lecture. Homework, 2.5 hours a week for 9 weeks. But if you can get 8 to 12 couples, we'll come and do it. We've done it in North Lexington. A few years ago, we drove to the Paintsville congregation and did it there. Glad to facilitate it. If something that you would like, I know that it would be good for anybody who was able to commit to it. All right, trying to find topics that sort of run through all of the emotional needs, all of the things we want to talk about. One of those is time, because time, it's like communication. You need time for everything. You need time for communication. So we want to talk about that just a little bit, and then we'll have another exercise here for seeking ways to spend our time together that are especially meaningful. Here's what Harley has in his book. He calls it the policy of undivided attention. And when you read it at first, you're going to be, oh, come on. But think about it. Give your spouse your undivided attention for a minimum of 15 hours each week, using the time to meet the emotional needs. And here's the big four: affection, sexual fulfillment, intimate conversation, and recreational companionship. Those are the big four, because those are the top two usually for men and women. Affection, intimate conversation for men, sexual fulfillment, recreational companionship for, the other for women, that for men. So 15 hours per week. Now, Harley admits, and most of us maybe have the same first impression, 15 hours a week. We can't find the time to do what we need to do already. Where are we going to find 15 hours per week in addition to give, notice, undivided attention? That means there's a lot of things that aren't there to take our concentration away. Undivided attention. This isn't time that you don't have. It's time that you will use for something which is less important if you don't use it for each other. So think of it that way. I'll use 15 hours for something each week. Am I using 15 hours for something that's a lot less important than the most important person in my life, and maintaining this marriage that we said was going to last until death do us part? Will I use it for that? Which will take intentionality to give 15 hours of undivided attention. Here's the threat. Busyness, and again, I don't know who first said this quote, but it's good. Busyness is one of the easiest and most subtle ways a marriage can fall apart. Now you think about that for just a moment. There could be a lot of things that aren't there in a marriage. A lot of damaging quality situations that aren't there. But here we have this couple. They are just so busy with good things or neutral things that they aren't making time for each other. A marriage can fall apart because of that. And so that's why he has the policy of undivided attention. In fact, he says if things are going well in your marriage, shoot for this 15 hours a week. If things aren't going well, shoot for more. If you're having trouble already, you better make it 20, 25, or 30. But 15 is just a maintenance level. If you've got a good marriage, 15 hours a week will help you keep that maintenance in your marriage. That's his advice, and I think it's pretty good advice. Okay, a lot of activities that you can do. We can make a long list, and in fact, we're going to look at a long list in just a minute. But there's a lot of simple things that we can do. Prepare a meal together. Uh-oh, struck a nerve back there on the next to back row. We'll hear about that later in private. Prepare a meal together. One of the neatest vacations that Barbara and I have ever taken, we went to Cumberland Falls for a week, got a cabin, and we prepared every meal together. And in the mornings, she did digging deep, and I worked on sermons. Then in the afternoon, we hiked, we went horseback riding, we, went to the falls, stuff like that. For a week. That's all we did, real simple. But we prepared all the meals together. I am, in case you didn't know, one of the better sous chefs in the state of Kentucky. Okay? I know how to chop stuff up and measure stuff and preparation, and she knows the really important stuff about putting it all together. But preparing a meal together, and if you don't know much about it, and like I didn't know much about it, you can learn to do the basics, and you can do those things together. And while you're doing those things together, you are talking because you're in the same kitchen probably. So simple little thing there. Prepare a meal together. The one who's the expert can handle the tough stuff. The one who isn't can handle the simple stuff, okay? It's like using a hammer and a nail, guys. You can chop up a green pepper or an onion or whatever, all right? Look at vacation photos. How many of us have vacation photos packed in the closet in boxes and we don't even know where they all are and haven't thought about them in some time? What a good time it would be just getting those out and remembering those memories. Or even on our camera, on our photo feed on our cameras, maybe just go through those because maybe we haven't looked at some of those in a while either. Spend time thinking about those memories. Undivided attention, thinking about memories. Take a walk. We enjoy that. It serves a couple of purposes, healthy, and when you're walking, you're just talking, walking and talking. I'm not talking about with ear pods in, both of you listening to a book or music or whatever. I'm talking about walking and talking. And we have around our neighborhood, we just happen to have an abandoned golf course that unfortunately our homeowners association owns now. So, we own 2.5 holes of the golf course, and we can walk everywhere. I mean, any length of walk you want, we're right there on the cart path. But take a walk, Most of us have a place where we can do that. Lunch and coffee breaks. Lunch and coffee breaks. If your job allows it, make a plan to be together for lunch. If you have to drive to where she is, he has to drive, or she has to drive to where you are, or whatever, spend that time together, eating, just the two of you, undivided attention. Grocery shop together. I bet Randy loves to do that too. But, or just go to Walmart and watch people. That's a lot of fun together. That's undivided attention. But there's just so many things. If you say, hey, let's do them together, instead of doing them individually, they can be very, very special. Okay, that was activities, and we could list those on and on and on. And in a moment, we'll try to figure out some that we like together. But here's approaches. And here's some of the things that I have found that I think are helpful as we approach this. States of mind or actually specific processes through which you might be able to work on that 15 hours a week. And I've got some sheets I'm going to hand out there to let you keep a record of it. And I would challenge you to keep a record of it and keep a chart of that 15 hours a week over the next few months. If you have a mind to, it would be worth it in your marriage. Okay, approaches. Schedule time. We use a Google Calendar, and I'm the one who puts most of the stuff on it, and Barbara can see it. She also has the written the little written notebook that I can look at anytime I want to. And when you schedule time, you don't just schedule church activities, you schedule this undivided attention time, your time together. At a certain time of the week, certain time of the day. Someone told us yesterday they had gone to the marriage seminar with Trey and Lee Morgan that was held in northern Kentucky a while back. They're coming in September, by the way, to North Lexington. They've written a book, 10 Ways to Make Your Marriage Stronger. Good stuff. I don't know them personally. They live in Texas, but read their material and very good. And they established 3:30 in the afternoon, a coffee break, and part of that alone time, undivided attention together. And Barbara and I just kind of happened up on that. We didn't go by their example. We were already just sort of doing that. But you schedule it. In fact, we're going to do this every day or every week or every whatever, whether it's a date night, whether it's a weekend getaway, whether it's a significant vacation, something without children, without other relatives, the two of you. That's important. Undivided attention. Not saying ignore the other people in your life or your family. Simply suggesting that we need this time to be transparent with each other, to really understand each other and meet each other's emotional needs. Schedule time to do that, because you probably heard it before. If you don't schedule your time, the world will schedule it for you, right? So, control technology. Control technology. That's not something that really has to be said, because we all know that. We know how much time technology takes out. TV takes of our lives, internet takes of our lives, or whatever. Instead of let technology control us, we need to control it, to use our time for all the purposes that we need it to, but most especially for 15 hours of undivided attention for our spouse. Now, in his book, or in their book, Trey and Lee Morgan's book, 10 Ways to Make a Marriage Stronger, one of his friends is a district judge, and what he handles are lots and lots of divorce cases. And Trey has this quote from him. He says, "Trey, you would not believe it, but," he says, I bet 98% of the people getting divorces in my court have an emotional affair going on by way of text. Now that even shocked me, and I've read a lot of statistics. Have an emotional affair going on by way of text. In other words, somebody seems to be meeting their needs besides their spouse, and eventually they're in divorce court. 98%. Now, that was not using the scientific method. I know what that judge said, but I would understand him to know what he's talking about. That there is a great deal of time not being spent with one spouse, and somebody else is filling up their time and providing emotional needs, or at least pseudo-emotional needs, and it results in the dissolution of marriages. So control technology. Use it as the tool it's meant to be to make your lives better. And if you want to text somebody, text your spouse each day, and tell him or her, thinking about you, love you, stuff like that. But control the technology that takes you away from each other. Enlist your children. It has been said and written in various formats, various paraphrases, the best thing that parents can give their children are a happy marriage. And I think it's pretty close to right. The best thing that you can give your children is a good marriage. If they see mom and dad cultivating the kind of marriage that ought to be, I'm talking about a God-ordained, the principles of the Scripture kind of marriage, you really can't give them anything better. as far as their needs are concerned. So enlist your children. And when children reach a certain age, you should be able to tell them, Mom and Dad need some alone time. And you're going to stay with Grandma and Grandpa this weekend so that we can get away and just give undivided attention to each other. And it's not because we love you any less, but it's because we love each other that much. Enlist your children. Once they're old enough to understand that principle, let them know that that's what you're doing and that's why. Sacrifice things less important. Look at your schedule. Most of us have some kind of schedule. If you don't, maybe start keeping one and look at some things and say, is this more important than undivided attention time with my spouse? A couple of ways that I read that I think are interesting. Well, actually, one of them I just thought of, one I read. What if there were a medical emergency in your family? Would you not rearrange your schedule to meet that medical emergency? If somebody was really sick, they needed treatment of some kind, or they needed some kind of attention, and it disrupted the whole schedule for a week or 2 weeks or a month, you would respond to that, wouldn't you? Because it's an emergency. You got to do it. This is important. So we look at our marriage and we say, we're just not spending any time together. We don't have enough time for each other. We don't have time to talk about the things that are important, and we need to do that. Let's treat that like a medical emergency. We'll make space for it. We'll figure out what can be sacrificed. Here's another thing that I read that I thought was interesting. Maybe just keep it in mind. Maybe it motivates you. I don't know. What if you were being paid $1,000 an hour to do a job? Would you make time to show up for that job? $1,000 an hour? Oh yeah, a lot of things could be go on hold there. Yeah, my golf game. I can wait on my golf. I'll go get that $1,000 an hour because that's pretty good money. Okay, a lot more than most of us make. Well, what's really more important in a person's life? The relationship with their spouse or $1,000? In other words, you'd make time for some things. Make time for what's really, really important, and that is undivided attention with your spouse. Learn each other. Learn each other as far as how you like to spend time, what kind of time is most profitable for you. Experiment a little bit. Do some things differently than you've done them before. Do some new stuff. And say, does this help us? Is this helping us get to know one another transparently or not? Okay, it's time now for our next exercise. If I could have some help. Everybody gets one of these sheets. Please don't start until I tell you to, okay? I am going to talk while they're being handed out, though, just for the sake of time. This is a recreational enjoyment inventory. This is one of the things Dr. Harley suggests. You've got a list of 125 things there, more or less. And you've got a range from -3 to +3 and everything in between. Here's what you do. You each have your own copy there, each spouse, and you'll compare them later. But don't look at each other. I want you to go down just through the first page, and I want you to circle what you agree with. 3, +3, man, I'd love to do that. That is my kind of activity. -3, oh, please don't drag me to that. 0, yeah, I could go either way. All right? And then there's everything in between. So I want you to do that. And then when we're done, we'll pick out those which are positive numbers for both people. And those are things to investigate. I never knew you liked skydiving. Oh yeah, I would love to go skydiving. I'm being a little facetious there, but you see what I mean. So please, no consultation, do just page 1. And again, there's a prize chosen especially for you, for the one who does the best. Your preference. Don't compare yet, just your preference. 3, I'd love to do it. -3, I'd rather chew nails. And when you are both done, then put them together and add them up on one sheet or the other. 3 plus 3, 2 plus 2, minus 3, plus 3. Add it up there. Yes?
It says not to consider the negative ones at all in the instructions, just add the positive.
Okay, we'll go by the instructions then. Just take the positive ones. That's all that you do, the positive ones. But yeah. Where both are positive numbers, add those up. Just page 1 for now. This afternoon, you're welcome to do all that you want to. How are we doing on adding them up? Any more time or? Somebody say yes? Okay. Is it possible, brother, you having too much fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just
No,
wondered.
You can't have too much.
Just page one now, right? Anybody still working? Everybody got their totals? Okay, I don't see a lot of yes or no's. We're going to go ahead here. All right. There were 25, I think, categories on there. How many people got a positive number? Because that's all you're supposed to put now. If both of you had 1, 2, or 3 and added them up, so you'll have, 2, 4, 6, whatever. How many had 25 positive numbers? Like everything on there? Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah. No, nobody would like everything on that first page. That's too much. Okay. How many had 24 positive numbers? 23. We're doing a Kenny here. 24, 22, 21, 20. Well, there was a variety of things. As you go through the whole list, you see there's a real variety. 19, 18, stop me when I'm there, 17, 16. 16 positive numbers. Good for you. First place. 15. All right. There you go. I think 15 or 16 are exceptional, but if you did less than that, don't worry, because there's 3, 4 more pages to go. There's a lot of things to do. There's blanks to write in, some things that you want to do, right? The point is that the two of you are talking about doing something together that you both enjoy, all right? When one person drags the other into something they don't enjoy, uses some kind of coercion, it's not good undivided time together. That's not where you learn to meet those 4 top needs that we talked about. Okay? So this is one way to do it. You talk about the things you enjoy, you find something you both enjoy. And you say, hey, we're going to schedule some time for that this very next week, okay? Or next month, or whatever your life allows you to do. But 15 hours a week, remember, just for maintaining a good, healthy marriage. That's what's recommended. Okay, now, so that you can keep score of how well you're doing, we have the undivided attention worksheet that you fill out through the week. And you keep up with each week your hours. And then we have the undivided attention graph for 6 months. You can keep up with it. 6 weeks, 6 months of weeks here, and you can chart that. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that everybody is going to be that devoted to this. But I'm going to be just optimistic enough that I'm going to give each one of you, each couple, a sheet and say, if you want to do this, it'll be good for you. So here, if y'all will hand that out, one per couple. And if y'all need more copies, let me know. We can make more. I should have written my email on one of the slides so you can copy it down. But here's my email. S. Johnson at North Lexington, North is spelled out, North, Lexington. Need one more back there or something? COC.org. S. Johnson at North Lexington, COC.org. And I'll share anything that I've got with you that you've seen today here. If you need more copies or something, which if you keep this weekly sheet, that's only good for 1 week. So if you want to copy it yourself, I'll send you more, and you can print them right off. But I think it would be good to at least get started at that and see, are we really spending as much undivided time with each other? I mean, undivided time with each other as we think we are. Thanks, sir. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments, observations on today? Thank you. We've got just a few minutes. This workshop is all about learning one another. And that course we have, that's all about learning one another. And that's what's important, because if you have the intention to meet one another's needs, all you got to do is learn them, right? That's all there is to it. I want to share with you as we close out some suggestions. One of them was prepared by a religious writer. The second list is a list that I picked from here and there all over the different lists that I found. Suggestions for a good marriage. And I put them together. I shared them in November with a congregation in Cologne, Panama, where I did a Saturday workshop, marriage workshop, because it's one of those things that everybody wants to know about is marriage. So I'll share that list second. It's kind of a blend. Here's the first list that a preacher put together. Take your wife out on a date regularly. Plan it, prepare for it, and court her the way you did when you were dating. Watch your personal attractiveness. Once you are married, it doesn't mean that you can let yourself go. Take care of yourself. Anything that was important while you were dating should still be important. Continue to be courteous. Open the door for your wife. Say thanks when she does something for you. Write unexpected notes. Give flowers for no specific reason other than just because. I taught both my boys, and I taught my oldest grandson, who's now married. You open the door for your wife. And, I recommend it, guys. She appreciates it. Be understanding of personal interest. Let him play golf. Let her go shopping. Okay? The fact that we want undivided time together, full attention, doesn't mean that we can't have other interests too. And that's healthy. But we want to talk about the other part first. We want to be sure that we're with each other first, and then we have other friends. We have other activities. Nothing wrong with that. Never criticize your spouse in public. I'll say that again. Never criticize your spouse in public. That's like saying, this is the best person I'd get to marry me, and look what she is. It's dumb. Never criticize your spouse in public. Compliment her in public. Say good things about her in public. If you got to talk about something that's not less than exciting, and you do it in private. Don't go to sleep angry. We've already talked about that. Remember, nobody wins an argument because it's not a competition. Start a family campaign of thoughtfulness and kindness. Pray every day that you can model the fruit of the Spirit in your home. Number 8, turn off the TV and other technology. Guys, turn off the sports channel and have a conversation. Ladies, turn off the unrealistic expectations in our minds. Television plants unrealistic expectations in our minds, steals time we could be spending with one another, and clutters our minds with an unbiblical view of life, love, and marriage. That's just one more reason to be careful about what we watch on television and movies. It's unreal. We know how Hollywood lives. We know the values they live by. We know what they produce. Don't look at that so much you begin to think, hey, that's real life, and certainly not life that God approves of, not the kind of marriage that God intends. So, unrealistic. Turn control of your finances over to the Lord. Pray together that you can put down roots and have stability in your home. Okay, that was from a preacher. I like the list there. Now here's the suggestions that I put together from, it's just all over the place. No one source here. Never flirt with another man or woman, and never stop flirting with your spouse. I like that one. Never flirt with another man or woman, no matter how innocent you think it is. Don't do it. And never stop flirting with your wife. And ladies, I told the men that that doesn't mean grab and grope. We went over that. And I don't know if y'all talked about that in other ladies' class or not, but we talked about, because Harley has a philosophy about grab and grope. So that's not flirting. But do flirt with your wife. Control your calendar, know your priorities, and schedule them wisely. Make your other family, that is the church family, a priority, because that will help you. That will help you with your nuclear family. Keep doing what you did to gain his or her attention before you were married. Tell him or her frequently how special and important they are to you. Kiss each other every morning and evening, and more often if you prefer. Know that your greatest allegiance on earth, is to your spouse, not to relatives or friends. When conflict arises, hold hands and attack the problem and not each other. That holding hands is a good conflict resolution tool, because you're just less likely to be ugly with each other when you're holding hands. It just does something. I don't want to use the word magic, but it's special. Never compare your marriage to anyone else. Avoid the greener grass syndrome, because we know it's not true, okay? Praise one another in public and correct in private. And finally, apologize correctly. You say things like, I'm sorry that I, or please forgive me. Okay? Apologizing is not, I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry that upset you. And things like that. Those are not apologies. Those are not repentance either, as far as spirituality goes. Apologies is, I am sorry that I did that. Please forgive me. And that's pretty important in our conflict resolution. Well, guys, unless y'all have something else, I'll close out here. We appreciate being part of this. We enjoyed last night. Appreciate being part of that. Love being with you. We know so many people here for years through the camp and other options, and it's just good to be with you. I hope something that we've shared today has been good. Tomorrow, Barbara will be teaching the ladies' class back there. I'll be in here, and then I'll have the sermon tomorrow. And tomorrow morning in class, we're going to be talking about love busters. Those are the things you want to sweep out of your marriage, because they will cause problems. We want to meet the emotional needs. That's positive. We want to get rid of those love busters, those things those habits, those inclinations that work their way into our lives and give our marriage problems. So we'll be talking about that separately tomorrow morning. And then We'll be talking about having a great family in general during the sermon, because I know everybody will be here. It won't be just about marriage. It'll be generally kind of a family sermon. So thank you for making us part of this. Love being with you. And unless somebody else has something to say, some of the elders or whatever, we'll be dismissed. Anything else we need to tell everybody? Thanks for coming. And if you need any copies, we've got some up here too, so.